Welcome to the public information presentation related to Milwaukee County's proposed rehabilitation of the Flushing Channel. The representatives for this project consist of Carl Stave with Milwaukee County, Brad Dasinski with Milwaukee County Parks, and Mark Mutziger with Collins Engineers as the engineering consultant. Contact information for the respective agency representatives is shown for your reference. I am Mark Mutziger, and I will be presenting to you. This presentation will provide a history and overview of the Flushing Channel site and existing conditions, review investigations of existing conditions and related findings, provide possible options for rehabilitation of the Flushing Channel, review the county's preferred options for wall rehabilitation and associated costs, and receive public comments about the project. The Flushing Channel is located on the shores of Lake Michigan in McKinley Park, just north of downtown Milwaukee. As can be seen in the attached overview photo, the Flushing Channel is adjacent to Lincoln Memorial Drive. The head wall of the channel is directly adjacent to Lincoln Memorial Drive and is owned and maintained by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District and is not part of the project. The Flushing Channel was originally built to draw water from Lake Michigan and pump it to the Milwaukee River in order to flush lower quality water away from the city and into the lake. The pumping facilities were built in 1888 and were maintained until 1992. The pumping operations were located in the building on the north side of Lincoln Memorial Drive that now houses Collectivo Coffee. The Flushing Channel is now used by the Milwaukee Yacht Club to load and unload boats and is a popular fishing spot. The existing walls of the Flushing Channel have differing layout and construction. The existing facilities are broken into 7 sections as illustrated by the graphic here. In sections 1 and 1.5, Milwaukee County previously completed a project to remove the existing walls and install a stone revetment along most of the south face with an overlook area supported by steel sheet pile. Only minor revisions to section 1.5 is anticipated in order to tie the previous construction to future rehabilitation. Section 2, 4, and 6 are original construction with timber piles and sheeting with timber deadman anchors. Section 3 is the MMSD property and consists of concrete piles and steel sheet piling. Section 5 is the Milwaukee Yacht Club loading and unloading access area and has steel sheet pile with steel tiebacks. Records of this construction are not available, but it is assumed that the steel sheet pile were installed in front of the original timber piles and sheeting. In addition to the timber piles and sheeting in Section 6, there is timber pile supported pier used by the Milwaukee Yacht Club for tying up boats. Section 7 consists of steel sheet piling and only minor adjustments are anticipated to tie the existing construction to future rehabilitation. The existing walls have reached the end of their service life, and replacement of the timber piers and walls is desired. Some examples of concrete degradation and lost material behind the wall are shown in this slide. The current conditions have created a safety hazard that needs to be corrected. Collins Engineers, under direction from Milwaukee County, conducted an inspection of the existing facilities. This consisted of an underwater inspection of the timber piles and walls and an inspection of the above water portions of the walls. The underwater inspection consisted of visual and tactile inspection of the submerged sections. Sample sections approximately every 100 feet were cleaned and inspected. Ultrasonic thickness readings were taken on the steel sheet pile, and a hydrographic survey was obtained to identify channel bottom elevations. The above ground inspection included a topographic survey obtained by drone technology. In addition, soil borings were taken behind the walls so that geotechnical data could be gathered to support the recommended repair design. The above ground inspection found deteriorated concrete and settlement of the walls, with some portions rotated out of position. Additional examples of concrete deterioration are shown on this slide. The underwater inspection found that the timber piles and walls are in poor to severe condition, with holes causing backfill material to be lost through the wall. This loss of material is causing sinkholes behind the wall, which are creating a safety hazard. The existing steel sheet pile wall at the Milwaukee Yacht Club loading and unloading yard has corrosion and is in need of rehabilitation to ensure its functionality. Some of the considerations necessary as part of the design process include that the water level for Lake Michigan is currently higher than normal. There are existing buildings and yacht club amenities very close to the existing walls. The Milwaukee Yacht Club use and operations access needs also have to be maintained. Any work on the walls also provides an opportunity to incorporate facilities for public use and maintain the historical elements of the original construction. The Milwaukee Yacht Club has several cranes used for loading and unloading boats. Any design and future construction needs to take into consideration the future uses of these cranes. In addition, the area behind the steel sheet wall is paved and in continuous use by the yacht club, so intrusive investigation and subsurface conditions and construction of the existing wall is difficult. Investigation studies looked into whether the existing timber walls could be maintained and found that maintenance costs and the risk of sudden and catastrophic failure made this not feasible. Various alternatives for each section of wall were investigated. These included a new riprap revetment or steel sheet pile wall in section 2, alternate wall construction techniques in sections 4, 5, and 6, and the possibility of maintaining the existing steel sheet pile wall in section 5 through the use of a fiber reinforced panel and grout face. In section 2, alternatives were considered. The first was a stone revetment. It would remove the existing wall and install stone to armor the slope. It would be very similar to the existing construction in section 1. Some of the disadvantages of this alternative include the shorter service life. Storm and high wave events can cause loss of stone, which would require additional maintenance. It requires more demolition during construction, and some steel sheet piling is still needed to tie into the existing construction at section 1.5 and at the MMSD head wall. There are also concerns about how close boats that utilize the channel would be able to get to the slope, because much of the slope is underwater and not visible. Another disadvantage to the stone revetment option is that it allows access for geese and other waterfowl to migrate to and from the channel into the parkland. As evident in the current revetment area, this can create a nuisance from the numerous goose droppings that deter pedestrian use. In sections 4, 5, and 6, an alternative to install a new sheet pile wall with grouted anchors was considered. For this construction, the steel sheet pile are installed in front of the existing wall, and then anchors are installed from the front face of the wall at a downward angle and grouted in place. The advantage of this construction is that there is less disturbance behind the wall. There are several disadvantages in that unknown obstructions such as old construction and boulders behind the wall could cause issues with the installation of the anchors. It also requires a specialty contractor that would need to work from a barge, which is often expensive. The tieback is necessary to prevent the wall from tilting outward. For all of the walls, there is an alternative to install a new sheet pile wall with a deadman tieback system. Similar to the previous sheet pile wall construction described, the new wall would be installed in front of the existing wall. Some of the benefits to this alternative is that it requires less demolition of the existing walls and is similar to the existing wall. It does require excavation behind the wall in order to install a tieback. The tieback is necessary to prevent the wall from tilting outward. In section 5, an alternative was considered to leave the existing steel sheet pile wall in place, but perform some rehabilitation. An additional consideration in section 5 is that the Milwaukee Yacht Club's cranes have limited reach and capacity, and any new wall placed in front of the existing wall would require the existing cranes to be moved closer to the water. The rehabilitation would install fiber reinforced panels in front of the existing wall and then fill the space between the existing steel sheeting and the new fiber panels with a special underwater grout. This would seal the wall and prevent future corrosion, which is caused by exposure to both water and oxygen. The advantage to this alternate is the lower construction cost and the limited disruption to the loading yard. It may not have the same life as a new wall, and it is recommended that the construction be inspected to monitor its performance and need for future maintenance. In addition to the fiber panels and grout, another alternative was considered. This would consist of installing cathodic protection to the existing steel sheets to prevent future corrosion. The cathodic protection would place sacrificial anodes on the steel. These anodes corrode instead of the steel sheets. They require regular inspection and replacement as they corrode and degrade. Based on the advantages and disadvantages of each alternative, along with cost estimates, Milwaukee County has determined that the most beneficial option are to install new sheet pile walls in sections 2, 4, and 6 with tie-back anchors. In section 5, the existing steel sheet pile wall will remain in place and the fiber reinforced panels with grout will be installed in front of the wall. A new concrete parapet will be installed on the steel sheet pile wall adjacent to the MMSD head wall to preserve the historic aesthetics of the flushing channel. A new pedestrian railing will be installed at other locations, not including the Milwaukee Yacht Club loading and unloading yard. A new concrete sidewalk will be installed on the west side to tie into the existing sidewalk along the lakefront and the new walkway parallel to Lincoln Memorial Drive. The graphic in this slide shows a conceptual sketch of what these improvements will look like. A new concrete pedestrian path will be constructed along the west side of the channel to connect the existing concrete walkway along the previous revetment project identified as Section 1 to the pedestrian access along Lincoln Memorial Drive. The walkway will include ADA accommodations. Amenities such as pole-mounted lighting and benches with wheelchair space will be provided along the new walkway. This slide shows details related to the new wall and support system. Minor variations are shown for locations that have a handrail or a new concrete parapet wall. The new wall will have a concrete parapet adjacent to the existing MMSD head wall, which is shown in this photograph. Similar to the existing construction, there will be balusters at regular intervals and new lampposts, similar to the existing lampposts in the park. They will be included at the end of the concrete parapet. This slide shows an architectural rendering of the proposed improvements as seen from Lincoln Memorial Drive looking northeast. You can see where the parapet wall will end and the railing will be installed along the remainder of the new wall and concrete pathway. This slide shows another architectural rendering from the park looking north towards Lincoln Memorial Drive. This gives a closer view of the concrete pathway connection and concrete parapet wall to railing transition. It is anticipated that final design will be completed in early 2021. Milwaukee County will then determine when it will be advertised for bid and construction. The estimated total construction cost for the project is approximately $3,750,000. Thank you for viewing the presentation. Questions and comments about the project may be submitted via the website.